Alligator Alcatraz, the migrant detention center in the Florida Everglades, surrounded by controversy, is clearing out its detainees after hundreds of millions of dollars were poured into getting the facility up and running.
We're not backing down. We've always said that we are going to continue to fight in the court of law for what's right, because we know that what this administration is doing with respect to all policy, but also immigration policy, is above the books, and we're abiding by our nation's immigration laws. And we think it's despicable that an activist judge has inserted themselves in this migrant detention facility to the point where DHS is now having to relocate these illegal immigrants to other detention facilities around the country. That is an unnecessary burden on the Department of Homeland Security and these agents who should be removing these criminals from our community. That's what the American people elected this president to do. So we've always maintained, Gabe, we're going to comply with court orders, but we're also going to fight back on them on the merits of the law.
I disagree with the judge who made that decision. I went down there. I walked through the detention areas where these people sleep and live. I saw a clean facility, a well-maintained facility. I went to the medical center and talked to the nurses there on staff, looked at the medical facility. It was great.
So news of the closure came from an email shared with the Associated Press. In the message, Executive Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management, Kevin Guthrie, told South Florida Rabbi Mario Rajman that the facility would have 0 detainees. The email sent on August 22nd was related to religious services at the center. Both Guthrie and Rajman confirmed the exchange, though Guthrie's office declined to comment further. A federal judge, U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams, ordered the facility to halt expansion and begin dismantling within 60 days after finding that the state and federal officials failed to conduct a required environmental review under the National Environmental Policy Act before construction, despite the site being located in the Everglades. But a lawyer for Governor Ron DeSantis had argued because Alligator Alcatraz was a state project, it wasn't subject to federal environmental review laws. During an event in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis credited the decline of detainees due to an influx of deportations. And he said, ultimately, it's DHS's decision whether they want to process and stage detainees, and it's their decision when they want to bring them out. But this whole operation has cost a pretty penny. Florida signed contracts totaling at least $245 million to build and staff it. The biggest contract, worth $78.5 million, went to Jacksonville-based Critical Response Strategies, which was responsible for staffing the facility with correctional officers, camp managers, and IT personnel. Another $25.6 million went to Longview Solutions Group for preparing the site and construction work. Tech company Gotham's landed a $21.1 million contract to provide things like access badges and wristbands for detainees. Construction at the site had been temporarily halted by Judge Williams amid ongoing legal battles. Environmental groups and the Muckasuki tribe filed a lawsuit claiming the facility threatens the surrounding wetlands. DHS attorneys tried to overturn that ruling, arguing it would disrupt immigration operations. That was ultimately denied. In a new order on Wednesday, Judge Williams reinforced the pause, saying that federal and state officials hadn't presented any new evidence showing that detainees posed an unusually high risk or that shutting things down would seriously harm immigration enforcement efforts. Now, to complicate matters further, a federal judge in Miami recently dismissed part of a separate lawsuit about detainees' rights and transferred the rest of the case to a different jurisdiction. This all follows troubling reports from lawmakers who toured the facility earlier this year. They described people being held in cages, poor sanitary conditions, detainees pleading for release, and even one man who had reportedly been hospitalized for several days.